Uh, Hello there, guys. Welcome back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting all this stuff together now because it is time just to move on with it. So what I'm gonna do is gonna do one for the character and one for the how to clean up the geometry for the character, and then how to do as well with the mechanical part. Now for the character, what you need to have is we're gonna make sure first that we're gonna combine the hands and the body together, and then once we do this, then we're going to combine the head together with the neck and part of the body. So I think the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that these things sort of match in a way, so it's going to be easier for us to connect it. So, but first I start with the body and the hands at the moment. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put normally what I like to work is whatever I'm not working on, I would normally move it to the top. So I would select the head and then move it to the top, then the eyes. With this button you move it to the top, and then I would have just the body and the hair. And then I'm gonna move the hair all the way to the top. So we go hair, the head, the eyes, the body, and the hand. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to merge the hands together with the body, so I can turn it into a single piece of geometry. Okay. So I'm gonna combine in a single mesh that has gonna have quite a lot of geometry, but it's gonna be just a single one level geometry resolution. So I'm going to hide all this stuff here. So I'm just gonna be working on the hands and the body. So first of all, I can fix that later on with the neck, but for now I need to combine these two, because I think what I did last time, I put detail on the hands and I put the nail, but which is just something quickly, guys, so you can have something there to work on. But you're gonna do a much better job than me because you're gonna have plenty of time to do this, okay? Oh, and by now I actually forgot to put the keyboard here and mouse, but I'm gonna do it for the next video. So apologies about that because I already started and I want to start again. So, but you already know the shortcut for this already. So now, having these two, what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine them. So I'm going to do is I'm going to select having these two and then combine them. So I can combine them through here by setting merge and then merge visible, but then we'll create an extra subtool here, and then you will have to come here and append there. So first before I do this, I'm going to make a new copy of this, and I think I'm in number 7, so I'm going to tell you this number 8. So I will have, this is the 8th stage of the process, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to combine them, but then I'm going to delete these two at the same time. So like I say, if I use the merge down there, I will have to do those extra steps. But if you use the set plugins here, there's a plugin for that called the Subtool Master, and what it does is it does all those jobs for you in one go. So if you go here merge, you can tell them to merge only, no, to merge and delete extra subtool. What it does is merge these two guys, combine them, and then delete the two separately. That's it. So I'm going to hit OK, and then you can see that it respected all these, that they were separate because they were hidden. So whatever was visible, it converted into a single piece of geometry. But at the moment, even though they look combined, they are not a single unified mesh, because they are just two pieces in here and there's another piece and then you got the nail. But we want to combine every single thing in one single piece of geometry. So this guy at the moment is 360,000 points. So what we can do, we can just put it together in a single mesh and then use in Dynamesh. So the next thing you need to do is go into geometry, go into Dynamesh, and then obviously if you keep these too low and then you hit Dynamesh, this is what happened. You pretty much kill all the details. So we don't want that. We're going to process something that is fairly high. So even though these guys go to, let's say, 1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million, that's fine, because we're going to get all that detail later on. So I'm going to increase this to, I don't know, 1,000 and see what it does. It gives me 300,000. Let's see how much if I lost any detail. And the good thing is I don't have a great deal of detail on this, but it's a little bit of detail missing in the nails here. Even though I put that extra geometry, it would be nice to keep that. So I'm just going to put this to about maybe 2,000 and Dynamesh it. And then now we'll have 1.5 million, but you can see that we preserve a great deal of detail here. You can see, I got all the detail. Well, the majority of it at least, but if I frame this, you can see that the geometry now is a single piece of geometry. A single piece of geometry. Okay, got one of these buttons pressed now. But they are a single mesh. You can see here that they are a single mesh, even though they have different polygroup, but they have a single mesh, which is good. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're just going to soften this transition in there, that connection. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just with a smooth brush make sure that I have symmetry on. So I'm going to press X, symmetry, and then I'm going to smooth these two guys together. So I'm going to, you can do it here so as well. You press Shift and then you just smooth this out here, so we can have a softer transition between them. You can see now they nicely combine. And you see you don't have that issue there when you were dynameshing things separately. You will have all this webbing in the fingers and all that. So with this, you want to have all the detail and preserve it if you treat them individually. Again, guys, this stuff this is a lot more work. I'm just doing something quick, guys, so you can follow the tutorials and the tools. But remember, I expect you guys to invest a great deal of time and work on this, so make it look really nice. I can do all that, but I don't have the time to do it because I've got to teach you the modules. So that's it. So we have this, right? Now let's have a look at the I think I got Shift press. So let's have a look at the geometry here. This is 1.5 milli, you see, and there's no problem. ZBrush can handle it with no problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the head and I'm just going to work on the head individually. So I'm going to select the head and I'm going to hide this. Just going to frame it, and then I'm just going to keep it the way it is. Okay. So, and I'm going to work on this in the same way. But before I do that, I would like to do because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these two guys. I'm going to make sure that they have clean topology. Okay, and by I mean topology, we're going to run an extra process that is called the Z remesher. And the Z remesher, what it does is just looks at the topology, how it's built, and it sort of conforms to the way it is, the flow, the geometry, and it's always going to give you something that's really cool in terms of detail. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to do that on the head first, and then once I have the head first, and once it is combined and clean, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them combine the two together. I'm going to do the same process that I'm going to do in the head now on the body, and then we're going to sort of merge them together and bridge them. Once we bridge them, then you will have a single mesh. You will have the old subtool here, and then you will put all the detail back on. Okay, so don't worry, once you see me doing it, you will see what I'm trying to do. At the moment, if you can see, this geometry is quite, even though it looks good in terms of like the flow, there is still these little extra things in here and there. Like here, you can see these little pinches. That all this geometry, if you take this character to make it like really high res, like with loads of details and things like that, and detail that you're gonna add, then you're gonna start seeing a lot like pinchings and things like that, like little like artifacts. So with this method I'm gonna show you now, you will have a clean topology that you can work on, and then you can combine them. Okay, so so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a duplicate of this guy. Okay, so I'm going to create a version of this character. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this, and I'm going to duplicate it first. First thing you need to do is duplicate this geometry. So you hit the button here that says duplicate. Okay, and you will have two, one and then the other one. So this one here, what we're going to do is we're going to do the Z remesh. Okay, and it's going to be fairly low res, but we're still going to have this all here with all the detail that you can pass on the detail back to this one later on, but not now. So that one is hidden, this one is visible. Okay, and I'm gonna probably move it down so I know which is the one that I always like to have the one that I'm working on at the end for some reason, I don't know why. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the Z remesh on this. Now the Z remesh is here. There is uncheck Dynamesh because we don't need it anymore. If you want, you can just give it one Dynamesh at the end, I suppose. But let's not do that, that's clean, not enough. But we got this one, which is called the Z remesh. And the Z remesh, what it does is, like I say, analyze how the geometry flows, and it will give you like a really nice sort of flow of geometry, and it's quite clean and nice. So let's give it a go just as it is right out the bat and see what happens. Okay, so we go, we hit Z remesh, need to hit the target. This target is pretty much the one you need to sort of play around. And this is in the thousands. At the moment, this is 5,000. So we're hitting a target of 5,000. So let's put this to about I don't know, 15 or 13,000 and see what happens. And then we hit set remesh and it runs something in the background. And then after a while, it will give you a version of list. You see, they give you something that is pretty sort of quite clean actually. So obviously you lost some information because it's now fairly low res, but we can bring that information back on later on. So I think this is 24,000. This is perhaps too high. So let me undo this, okay, and then put this to, I don't know, 8,000 and see what happens. Okay. Okay, so now this one is 16,000, okay, and it does a pretty good job, but if you say that this is too much, then you could just hit this button half, and then when you hit set remesh, it will give you half of this. Okay, so that's now 9,000. Okay, just remember that the stuff we're doing for this semester is not going to be something that you're thinking about bringing into Game Engine or anything like that. This is just a concept design inside Unreal, so you don't have to, inside Unreal, inside ZBrush. You don't have to worry about anything like the boss. The boss is something you will do later on during the semester. Okay, so let me undo what I just did and then going back to the original mesh. Now you can see that this one looks a little bit chiseled and stuff, and the other one you lost that detail, but that's fine. You can recover this. Like I said, I'm gonna show you how to recover that. But one of the things that I want to show you is that even if I hit this button here, let me see, give me. I should have done something else. So 1 second. Undo that. So even if you're looking at polygon count, I don't know, 5,000 something, or 10,000, 13,000, whatever. Even if you hit the set remesh, it will give you something that is fairly good. But sometimes what it does is just it gives you a little bit of the geometry, the flow, the geometry, and the loops, how they're supposed to be built. Sometimes they don't give you a good sort of flow. Now, if you want to have things that are a little bit cleaner, what you can do, you can help the system by using a brush that is called the set remesh guide. And then what you do is you just draw on the mesh and you tell them how do you think the flow geometry is going to go, and it's sort of trying to sort of match it. So the moment it does give you something pretty good, you know. This is good enough. I think this is good enough. You go 25,000, you can probably get half of that, and then you will get something decent. But let's give it a go with that system in place. So what I mean by that is that you go here into this section, one of the brushes here called this it was somewhere here. I think it's called Z Remesh Guide, unless they got rid of it. Let me see. Yeah, Set Remesher Guide. You click there with symmetry. What you do is you draw concentric loops of where do you think the geometry should flow along. And then you can be more accurate when you have when you do the set remesh, it sort of give you something similar to what you just drawn. So it's like you have more control over the loops, how to put the loops. Let's imagine you were doing this in Maya, so you know exactly where to put the loops and how they're gonna go with the eye, the concentric section, and all that. So if you just, what you have to do is you just have to draw here. What do you think the geometry is going to flow? So if you just draw around this edge like that, it says I want this, and I want something that goes like this. You tell them that this is gonna flow this way, like that, like that. So probably a little bit better like that. Let's see if I can draw it better. This. Okay. The nose, probably looking at having something that goes like this. Okay. You got symmetry on anyway, so you can see the symmetry here. So this one goes like that. Maybe you're gonna have something that goes this way, like that, and this way like that. This is going to have loops that emanate like this, like this, like that. This is only a guideline. I mean, it's not gonna give you 100%. I don't like that one. So let me see. Maybe you can do something like this, like that. Like I said, this is not gonna give you a 100% solution, but it does help the system to know where to put the loops. It's just a cleaner way of doing it. And then later on, when you're studying more with us, you will see that why I did this. For now, just if you this will be a good introduction to see what actually clean geometry look like. The loops a bit messy. Like that, like that, like that. As you were doing things in Maya, like I said. So you just had to leave it, suppose something like this, it would be fine. Then from here, something like that. And then the system does the rest. Okay, it doesn't have to be accurate. Okay, let's leave it like that. And now we're telling, hey, just give me, I don't know, target of 3,000 polygons, 4,000 or 5,000 polygons. We hit set remesh. Okay, and this is just the strength of the curve. Say how much you wanna keep going with this curve. So how strict you wanna be in terms of the curves. So if you press Control, you can see roughly what this is supposed to do. So you hit set remesh, and it's gonna try to conform to this flow of what we did. This is just a guide. This is just a brush that you use temporarily, just to telling the system where do you need to draw those lines. You can see you did a fairly good job, I suppose, here, but this is okay for now. Okay. If you don't want to use this, it's fine by me, guys. Probably in the face is a bit tricky because the face is quite complicated, but seems like the thing that we did before was quite clean. So I'm gonna put the strength to be lower, and then just to go more with the automatic. I think it's here. This is messing up next stuff here, but okay. Okay, again, if you don't want to do this, that's just fine. I think this would work much better in the body because the body is more like limbs and things, and then they will be cleaner. But for the face, just leave it like that. I think this is okay for now. But you can see this is quite low res, but that's fine. Don't worry about that for now. So we're gonna leave it like that. Okay, that's about 10,000. That's fine. So we have, remember, we have the original here. Look, if you have a look at here, we still got the one with all the nice detail, the chiseling thing, and then we have now the crappy one that has all the low res. But we're gonna capture that detail back on later on. Okay, so don't worry that for now. Okay, so we have this. I'm gonna move it up because I already work on it, so don't worry that for now. I'm gonna take this, okay, and I'm gonna do is I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the head now, with the head. Yeah. So I'm gonna take this and I duplicate it. Okay. So now I have this, and this guy is hidden. So I'm gonna probably move this, which is the one with the high res. I'm gonna move it all the way up here. So I have the old ones here and the new ones here. Okay. So I'm gonna work on this. And again, this one is 1.5 million, but this one we can still use the set remesh thing, so to help it out. So let's have a look. And again, you just put it with, do you think the loops are gonna go? I think like that, probably around here, so you can get nice loops around the arm. Like that, maybe loops in there. Like that. Again, these tips is not 100% necessary, But by doing this, you will have a bit more control over where the loops go. It's just that the system trying to create the geometry the best it can, but if you do this, then you will know, oh, okay, you want loops around this sort of area and this concentric in this way. Okay. So I got my key getting stuck in there, so I'm going to do that. Okay, maybe I'm gonna do this in here. Go into this area there. And merging here, something like that. I'm gonna put one in the knee here. There. There, here. And I'm gonna just leave it like that. I'm not gonna do more. Okay. And again, go, oops, I think I did it on this one, which is the one. So what we're gonna do is gonna move this down. So I'm working on it, and then I'm gonna move this one up. So that's the old one. Okay, I did it in the wrong one, so I did it this one. So okay. So we have this. Okay, now I'm gonna run the Z remesh again, and I'm gonna undo this, and then uncheck the Dynamesh. We're gonna do the Z remesh. We're gonna put this to, I don't know, 43,000, and then we hit Z remesh. And again, it's going to analyze these guys that we just used, and it's going to try to match the loops to go around that sort of shape. But again, like I said, this is not 100% strict necessarily, but sometimes it does help. But at the end of the day, this is just a quick solution. When it comes to actually having your character to have good topology, you will have to do it by hand, and that will be done in Maya or in another software called Topogun that we have in the university. Okay, so okay, let's have a look and see what it gave us. You can see here, this is the one here. It looks a little bit low res, but look at the geometry. It's nice and clean. You don't have those pinching and things that we had before. Now, this is too high res, so I'm gonna probably knock it down to, I don't know, 10,000. See if we can do it. Okay, so this seems to be okay. There's a little bit of a tricky thing here happening, but that's alright for now. We just want to have some clean topology to work on. This we have to fix it later on, but that's fine. I'm actually not happy with the way this turned out here, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to add more loops around here, this section, so maybe it can help. Let's do that again. Yeah, you see I put the loops there. You can see how it fixed this. He understood that that's how I wanted them, and it sort of gave me a much better flow in here. So the more you put, the better it's going to be. Okay, so this thing didn't give me a little bit of low resolution there, but that's fine. But you can see here that the hands are really good. You see the fingers, the arms, everything is okay. I mean, this is a pretty clean setup. Okay, so now that I have this, it is fine. I got two guys here, these two low res. You can see here, low res, both of them. Maybe this is a little bit too high res in comparison with this. So I'm gonna take this, and then I'm gonna half the amount of this. It's 10,000. And I'm gonna go into the Z remesh, and I'm gonna tell it, hey, give me half or whatever you have here. Just look at it. When I put half, automatically this gets grayed out. It means that I don't have a target poly count anymore. So I have just whatever I have, I'm gonna have half of that. So I click that, and now the best it could do was 6,000. That's fine. You can see that's good enough. And you can see that if I'm going to this, you can see that I sort of have the same density. Look at the sort of squares here and squares there. So we're trying to hit the best we can both densities, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this a little bit like that so I can sort of match it. So let me put transparent so I can see roughly what it is. So you can see this is not really. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trying to cut this way, I guess. Whoops, not like that. So I'm gonna change this to the old brush here, and I'm gonna press Control Shift, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do the clipping. So I'm gonna do is here. I'm gonna slice them. Okay. So I get that. Okay. And then I'm gonna press Control Shift. I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna delete it. Okay. Just gonna delete that. I'm just gonna go here into geometry, modify topology, and I'm gonna set delete hidden. Just gonna make sure that it's doubled so I can see inside. Okay. And now I'm gonna go to the head and I'm gonna go do something similar. So I'm gonna go into the head, and then I'm gonna just clip it here so I can sort of match him later on. So I'm gonna press Control Shift, slice curve, and I'm just gonna match him there. You can see that. Okay. Control Shift. I'm gonna click on this, invert it, and I'm gonna just go into geometry, and I'm gonna say delete hidden. That's fine. But now the geometry, I mess up the geometry a little bit, the edges. What I do is I'm gonna give it another cleanup, and then what I'm going to do is perhaps I'm going to do another quick set remesh like that. Just hitting a target. At the moment we have 5,000, so I'm gonna put a target of around that 5,000, and it's gonna say, hey, give me something, but I just want to get rid of these edges then. So let's see. So I'm gonna hit that, and you see that gave me this, but now the edge is much cleaner. So it gave me 10,000, so I'm gonna get half of that because we were last time we have 3,000. Now the other problem we have is this detail is going, but that's okay. We're gonna recover it later on. I think this is not good. I think it's deleting that detail in there. Okay, how can I do that? That's okay. I suppose that's okay. I can just go. I think we're gonna have to go and do this again because the that would be a good example. I'm supposed to do that again because I think I should have cut that stuff before and then do the set remesh. I think otherwise we would have end up doing this. So how can I do that? I'm gonna take this guy and I'm just gonna duplicate it again. See if we can do it quickly here. So I'm gonna get it down. Okay. That will be that. That will be this one. I'm gonna give it all the way to the bottom there. Just gonna not see this. I'm going to clear it out. Oh, this messed everything up now. Let me delete this. Okay, so let's do that. So we have these two, and now these two have this sort of messed up geometry at the moment, but I'm thinking, shall I just, I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. It's okay. I mean, you can just do that. Before you can do that, is you can do in this one here and then do the clipping, make sure they both match, and then do the set remesh, and then you will have this nice clean topology. The reason this topology created here is because I did the slice curve, so that's what it gave me this extra topology there. But let's see this one we can get away with it. So now that we have these two, what we have to do, we're gonna have to merge them. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the video here. I'm gonna do perhaps the stuff that I just told you, which I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and then do the clipping of the high res, and then or both those two high res clip and make sure they match, and then when I clip them, I make sure that I do the Z remesh, and then when I do a Z remesh, you will have sort of clean it. So when you merge them, they don't have this sort of weird extra geometry that the slice curve produces. Okay, but then we're gonna do the merges. So I'm gonna stop this now, and then I'm gonna do that cleanup, and then off. I'm gonna do it off, and then of no on recorded on video, and then come back and do the merging, and then I do the passing of the detail, and then you will have the geometry ready to start doing the extra thing like clothing and stuff, which is going to be the next step. Okay, that's it for now, guys. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to do that like I said, and then come back with another video. Thank you. Bye bye.